everybody, welcome back to Covering Country. My name is Brendan Murphy. In today's video we're going to be talking about the Zac Brown Band, covering my top 10 favorite Zac Brown songs of all time. I'm super excited. The Zac Brown Band is really probably the first band that I got really into in country. I've seen them 3 times in concert. Their sound is really one of my favorite sounds of any band that I've ever heard. They are, like I said, my favorite band, and they've kind of veered into a different type of sound in the last few years. Definitely on their recent album, The Owl, was a different sound than some of the other ones that they were more known for in the beginning. So the songs that are on here are going to be from early in their career. Hopefully they're ones that you guys can relate to, the ones that you know. We'll do a few honorable mentions as well, but I'm really hoping Zac Brown returns to that same style that made them so popular early in their career, instead of sticking to this poppy genre. But with that being said, we're going to get right into it. Small caveat, every song on this list, I didn't realize when I was researching the songs, you pull up the lyrics, it says who writes them. There's a man named Wyatt Durrett who co-wrote every song on this list except for 2, and there are 2 very good reasons why he didn't. So clearly I'm a fan of his songwriting style, and yeah, let's just get into the list. Coming in at number 10 today is Whiskey's Gone.
Whiskey's gone, but I ain't leaving. There's gotta be a bottle in the back.
Alright, now as the title indicates, Whiskey's Gone is a song about being in a bar, and the whole bar is out of whiskey. It talks about Jim Black. It's like the last bottle. How are you out of even Jim Black? Because he'd been drinking so much. Zach's vocals are awesome in the song. They go really, really high. He really just kind of lets loose. The sound of the song is really fast. It's really upbeat, and it almost sounds drunk. Like, it's kind of messy and sloppy, but it's fast. The song is funny lyrically. Like I said, he talks about being out of Jim Black, and there's a few other lines that kind of make you go, huh, like that's pretty clever on Zach's part. There's also an awesome key change in here where he kind of goes up in that register, and then he ends up at the end of the song just yelling, and it's like his anger that the bar is out of whiskey kind of culminating in this final yell. So it's an awesome song, and let's go to number 9. Coming in at number 9 is It's Not Okay.
Don't do a thing. Don't do a thing. Stay right there.
Alright, It's Not Okay is a song off Zac Brown's first album called The Foundation, which was probably their most well-known album and really, really blew up and put them right on the scene. This song is a solo write by John Driscoll Hopkins. As I said, there was 2 songs in here not written by Wyatt Durrett. This is one of them because it's written and sung by John Driscoll Hopkins. So Zach kind of takes a backseat in this song and only sings the chorus with John Hopkins. So John's one of the guitarists in the band, and this song clearly features the guitar throughout really prominently. It's really tastefully done, the guitar parts. There's this one pause at the end. He keeps saying, "Is this okay? Is this okay? Okay." And then he leaves this one part, and he lets you fill in the blank the last time. And there's the whole cutout in the sound, and then they go right into "Doom Doom Doom Don't Do a Thing," which is super cool, and it really makes you kind of fill in that gap by yourself, which is a nice added touch, if you will, to the song. Like I said, I've seen them 3 times in concert, and this song was just a party musically, like just a sonic, in-your-face sound when you hear this live, and really stuck with me from the concert that I saw. So awesome song, go check it out. I know it's not one of the more popular ones, but I think a lot of people will like it. Coming in at number 8 today is Chicken Fried.
To a little bit of chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night.
Alright, so if you're a common listener of the Zac Brown Band, my guess is this is the song you know. It's all over the place, played all summer long, and really all year long. It's just a huge jam. The thing for me, recording this on Memorial Day is really cool. As I said, I've seen them in concert. Every time they play this song, they always close the show with this, and there's a line here. Zac Brown says, "I thank God for my life, for the stars and stripes. May freedom forever fly, let it ring." And they bring out one of the troops on stage for the next part. He goes, "Salute the ones who died, the ones that gave their lives, so we don't have to sacrifice." And they bring out somebody in the armed forces and give them a salute while they're singing this song, and that is so patriotic, and it's such an awesome touch. It gives you goosebumps, especially at the end of the concert after this awesome music for a few hours, and then you see that it really ties it all together nicely. The sound of this is really pleasant. Lyrically, there's not a lot going on here. Chicken Fried is basically a metaphor for just a basic Southern life. It's about how awesome it is and just being thankful for what you have. So really awesome song. And if you know anything about the band's kind of roots, this is something that you know is real and that they are passionate about. Coming in at number 7 is Different Kind of Fine.
Genuine, a different kind of fine.
All right, so Different Kind of Fine is kind of a country funk song, if you will. There's a lot of grooves to the song, a lot of stuff that makes you kind of tap your foot. It's a really, really cool sound for them, and one that I think Zac captures really well. He has a little rap part in here, as he does in Whiskey's Gone, that sticks with you, and it's catchy, where a lot of country singers aren't really able to pull that off. Zac is. This song lyrically is also really cool. There's one line in here where he's describing this girl. The song's called Different Kind of Fine, so he's talking about how awesome this girl is compared to other girls, and he calls her a lawyer's queen, a trucker's dream, with a baseball hat fit for a queen, which is such a cool way to just say she can do it all. She's the perfectly well-rounded girl, and I think that's the difference between Zac's writing and Wyatt Durrett's writing compared to a lot of mainstream country singers, is they would just be like, man, she's got it all, instead of putting it cleverly like that and just giving these 3 different kinds of guys that would be interested in her. So super cool song, another deep cut from the Foundation, so go check it out. Coming in at number 6 is Keep Me in Mind.
Keep me in mind. Somewhere down the road you might get lonely.
All right, Keep Me in Mind is such a party. It's really just wraps you up in the sound of it. And for a song that's kind of longing for this girl to keep him in mind, obviously, and remember him if she ever gets lonely, the song is really upbeat, and it's really full on instruments, and that kind of juxtaposition between what he's singing about and the sound of it is kind of cool. And that's another thing that's carried through a lot of these top 10s, or through a lot of the songs in my top 10, that I think is interesting about Zac and is kind of unique to him. The harmonies in here are so full, and the one thing I would say that I'm really impressed with compared to other songs on here is that the production in this song changes a lot. So it starts off with just kind of like a basic guitar with the 2 hits, and then they change it up a little bit and go to a symphony vibe a little bit for a while, and then they go right back to rocking. So it's a nice mix of sounds, and shows off a lot of things that the band does well. Shows that they're not just basically a one-trick pony. The one thing I will point out also, as well as is consistent through a lot of these songs, the fiddle player in the band, Jimmy DiMartini, who gets a lot of love and is really one of the best fiddle players around, if not the best fiddle player around. He's shown off prominently in this song, and it's a jam. Go check it out. Number 5 on the list is Jolene.
Jolene, well, I ain't about to go straight.
So this is the other song that's not written by Wyatt Durrett, and it's because it's a cover of a song by Ray LaMontagne, not the Dolly Parton version that is really famous in country music. The song as a whole is basically saying that he knows he's not good enough for this girl, Jolene. He talks about remembering seeing her picture as he's at the bottom of a ditch. So he's been through all these things, and he keeps thinking about this girl, Jolene. And the way Zac sings it, at the end of the chorus, he goes through why he doesn't deserve her, and then he just kind of screams out, Jolene. And it makes you realize that it's similar to one of the other ones I mentioned. It's like he's crying out that he misses or he wants this girl, Jolene, so bad. It's really, really cool sonically, and it's just basically saying, I know I'm not good enough for you, but I really want to be. So it's a unique take on the Ray LaMontagne version. I've heard the other one, and personally I'm a fan of this one. The sound is really pretty, it's really full, and it's just an all-around awesome song. Another one from the Foundation on here. Number 4 on the list is Goodbye in Her Eyes.
I saw goodbye in her eyes.
All right, so Goodbye in Her Eyes is really probably the most unique song on this list, and one of the more unique country songs I've heard really ever. There's a huge build and a huge swell here, basically. So the song starts off with just guitar and just Zac's voice, and then builds to the point where it's a huge sound in the middle of the song with all these different background parts coming in, and then at the end it just gets back to Zac and the harmonies on the I Know That It's Over line. There's 2 lines in here I want to point out. At the end of the first verse, he says, she'd found what she'd been looking for, and I knew it wasn't me. So there's the goodbye in her eyes. He knew that the relationship was over and she was saying goodbye. The other one is that first line of the second verse. He says, sometimes I feel like a clown that can't wash off his makeup, which is such an awesome line, and something I think that a lot of people can relate to, of you know, being in somebody else's body or wearing that mask all the time that a lot of people just know you as, where you don't see yourself in that way. And I think that's almost something that Zac can relate to because of all the turns his career has gone through and how he's kind of veered away from this traditional sound into a more poppy and produced style of music, whereas maybe that was our first sign right here that we missed it, that he was attempting to do something different. So the song's awesome. I would highly recommend it. Give it a listen, and I guess it's probably going to be unlike anything you've ever heard. Number 3 on the list is Sweet Annie.
Sweet Annie.
All right, so this song in a nutshell is basically a plea to Annie. He says right away, and it's a big ask and very obvious, don't give up on me, which if you ask somebody to not give up on you, you're asking a lot out of them, and that's might be more than they're willing to give at that point, because that's such a big ask. That's something that usually carries a lot of weight to it, and usually is a no. So this song sonically is awesome. It has one of my favorite lines in any song. At the end, in the chorus, he goes sweet, and then the harmonies come in sweet, a little bit higher, and they're all layered, and it sounds so pretty. The other one is there's a huge build into the bridge here. At the end of the second verse, he says, what will be, and then they do the sweet, sweet again. And he just basically screams the big build up, and then the big drop at the end, which is so cool and sticks out right away as just a vocal show off for Zac, basically, and the band. And it's just such a pleasant song to listen to. It's one of my favorite songs of all time, so go check it out. Coming in at number 2 is As She's Walking Away.
As she's walking away.
So As She's Walking Away, kind of similar to Keep Me in Mind, has that juxtaposition between what the song sounds like and what the song is saying. So this is Zac talking about how he's mad at himself because he let this girl walk away, whereas the sound is really up-tempo, upbeat. The song features Alan Jackson, which kind of adds a unique touch to it. In the second verse, he says, "A wise man next to me did say about the one that got away," and then Alan Jackson comes right in, "Son, I missed my chance," meaning that he had too. And because Alan is older and has that deeper voice, it almost sounds like a father-son conversation between the two of them, which adds a whole nother element to the song, which is really cool, because it's not just Zac saying he missed out on this, it's the dad saying, "I remember when I did the same thing, and this is why you can't let that happen again." There's a really pretty sound in here at the end of the chorus. They go, "As she's walking away," and on the AAA part of that, there's the harmonies do like a minor walk down, so it goes from a B to a B flat, which is super cool, and changes the tone a little bit, and then resolves right back to the G, I believe, which is really cool. This song is awesome. It's one that you can get into. It's really upbeat. Even though the message of it isn't, and it's just an overall awesome song. All right, so we got a few honorable mentions. I'm not going to talk about them much, just because we're quick on time trying to make this a quick editing process, but I just want to hit on 5 other ones because Zac has such a big catalog of great stuff that I really like. So number 5 is Day for the Dead. It's a cut off of the Girl sessions, I believe, that they did with Spotify. It's an awesome song. They open every show with it. It's very cool and very different as well. Number 4 is Whatever It Is. This is another one of the popular ones. I know that a lot of people are big fans of it, so that one's off the foundation as well if you don't know that one. Number 3 is I Play the Road, which is a little bit of a different one, and I know one that a lot of people don't know as much probably, but it's an awesome meaning, awesome message to the song, and similar to what I said about As She's Walking Away, there's that minor walk down in the chorus, which in the harmonies, that adds a certain element to it, which is really cool. Number 2 is Natural Disaster. I don't even like the song that much. It's just the beginning parts where they sing a cappella with the voices layered on each other is so pretty and makes the song memorable to me. And then number 1, my final cutoff of here was Bittersweet. It's one that not a lot of people know, and it's the only one on here on Jekyll and Hyde, which as an album really was kind of unimpressive to me, but this song is awesome. I actually just discovered it pretty recently. It wasn't a huge hit, but go check it out for sure. The harmonies are beautiful, and it builds and then comes back down. Just an awesome song. And coming in at number 1 is Colder Weather.
I wanna see you again, but I'm stuck
So Colder Weather is one of the most well-written songs that I've ever heard, to be honest, if not the most well-written song. There's so much imagery running throughout here. He talks about the lights coming through the window pane, the car lights, meaning that the guy's leaving this girl. He talks about the truck stop diner just outside of Lincoln. And you know what? I'm just going to read the whole verse because the whole thing is so pretty. So this is the second verse. The first verse is from the girl's perspective, talking about this guy leaving from this flaky relationship, which she calls "you got a gypsy soul," like on this phone call. And then the second verse is the guy realizing that he really shouldn't have left. So here's what the second verse says. Let's see if I can find it. At a truck stop diner just outside of Lincoln, the night is black as the coffee he was drinking. And in the waitress's eyes, he sees the same old light is shining. He thinks of Colorado, where the girl is that he left, and the girl he left behind him. And then they go back into the chorus again. So that's just such a beautifully written line, written verse. There's one really high part in here where Zac just screams, "You know it's you that calls me back here, baby," meaning back to Colorado, which makes him keep going back, even though it's kind of this flaky relationship. And that's like, and then he goes, "Oh, I want to see you again." And there's like this really just high scream, which, as I've mentioned in a few other songs, it's like there's one just big yelp in here that makes you think that it's actually like a plea or a cry to allow whatever he wants to happen. So it's just a freaking awesome song. There's piano in here that's awesome. The harmonies are awesome. And then when it just calms down at the end and it's just that last verse, it's awesome. It's the first time I heard this at the Zac concert, I was pretty stunned. The first time I saw him, it was just the song, and then the second time he did "Take It to the Limit" in the middle, which was an Eagles song, if you know that one. And then he goes back into "When I Close My Eyes, I See You," that last verse. So just an awesome all-around song. If you haven't heard it, you don't know what you're missing, and definitely go check it out. And yeah, my number one Zac Brown song. All right, so that's my coverage of the Zac Brown Band. As I said, a lot of these songs are from The Foundation, his first record, You Get What You Give, his second record, and I think there was 2 on here from Uncaged, his third record. But other than that, there was nothing on the 3 recent ones. So I'm hoping Zac starts to get back into this, the pattern of songs that he wrote earlier in his career. He stopped working with Wyatt Durrett, who's now been working with Luke Combs, who, as you all know, is taken over country music, basically. So I hope he gets back to that. If it requires getting back with Wyatt, I don't know, but I hope he can get back to the songwriting. The reason I'm a little bit convinced that might be coming is he just appeared on Some Good News, John Krasinski's show, and played a song about a dad walking a daughter down the aisle at a wedding, which was so beautiful. He played like 2 verses of it, and it was just him and a guitar, and it really allowed his voice to shine. And I don't know. I hope he gets back to it. I think if he does, it'll be huge for his career. There was a point where he had 9 number 1 songs on radio from like 2011 to 2013. So it's there. He's just got to tap into it. So I'm excited for Zac, and thanks for tuning in to Covering Country again.